It's all about Knight Rider when I have the huge pleasure of talking to no other than Rick Avery. Rick was a stuntman in Knight Rider for 9 episodes. In the second season, he was in Silent Night, A Good Night's Work. He was in Mouth of the Snake. In the third season, he was in Night Lines. And in the fourth season, he was in Burial Ground, Night Sting, Night Song, Fright Night, and Night of the Rising Sun. So a huge amount of stunt work in these episodes for Rick Avery, who also on certain occasions appeared on screen in Knight Rider. This is probably the most prominent part of his on-screen presence. I'm going to talk to Rick about how it was doing stunts on Knight Rider. I'm going to talk to him about how it has been doing stunts through the 80s, 90s, up until now. Rick Avery has a huge amount of credentials. He's a stunt man, he's a stunt coordinator, he's a director. He's been awarded for the biggest car crash from the Blues Brothers 2000 movie. He's a member of the Motion Picture Academy. He's a martial artist with loads of different titles. He is a boxing masters champion as well. He's a helicopter pilot. And during his career, he's been a regular stunt double for John Travolta. He's been, and still is, a stunt double for Robert De Niro. So this is a man with a list of credentials very, very long. Today, we're going to talk about Knight Rider, so lean back and enjoy the ride. I think we're okay. Okay, Mr. Avery, welcome to my living room. Welcome to Denmark. It's a huge joy to talk to you.
Thank you. Who's that handsome guy off your left shoulder there?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me.
No, he looks familiar, but that's not me anymore for sure.
I love it. I want to start out by thanking you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I'll make, of course, a presentation of you, but I think when I have you right here, I must say that I'm humbled when I look at your resume. You have so many awards, so many fantastic achievements through your career. You are a rider, you're a stuntman, you're a stunt coordinator, you're a director, you are a martial arts champion, you are a champion of boxing as well. Is it called Boxing Masters?
Yes.
Yeah. So just so that the audience know, this is a man of a huge amount of achievements that I'm talking to today, and it's all about Knight Rider. I don't know if you want to start out by telling a bit about how you came into the world of Knight Rider.
Well, Knight Rider was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was in the 1980s, correct?
Yeah, 82 to 86, yeah.
82 to 86. And I did my first stunt job in 1980. So I was a very raw, new stuntman at the time. And Jack Gill and Bob Bravo, I think Bob Bravo ran the first couple of Knight Riders, and then Jack came in.
Yeah.
And Jack and I were in a group called the International Stunt Association. So that was kind of my in. I remember the first time he called me to work, I was a few hundred miles away in Mammoth on a ski lift. And I was so sorry to turn the job down. I said, Jack, I'll drive down. I was such an eager stuntman with so few credits to my name. So to get a job, I was willing to get off the ski slope, jump in my car, drive down there to work the next morning. He said, no, don't bother, Rick. I'll have you in on another time. And he did. And, I did, what any young stuntman would do. I wasn't doing very big gags back then because of my newness. Do you know what I mean? Not compared to what I did later in my career.
Yeah.
but I appreciated the opportunities that Jack gave me.
That's fantastic. So Jack Gill was your way into the Knight Rider world.
Yes.
What did you do in your life when you came into Knight Rider and when you started on Knight Rider?
Well, after I was in the Army for a couple of years, and when I got out, uh, I I went back to college, and then I decided that I I was fighting a lot down in Los Angeles. I lived in Santa Barbara, so I would travel all over the Western United States, and this was the time Chuck Norris and Joe Louis were my mentors just before I started fighting. And I met a man named Kim Kahana, who was also a martial artist. And he had a little stunt school in Chatsworth, California. And he was teaching people how to do high falls, more like low falls, horse work, camera fights, those types of things. So I trained with him off and on for about 4 years, and then with the idea of becoming a stuntman, and it didn't work out. So I decided to become a policeman. I had my karate school in Santa Barbara, and then 6 years into being a cop, I had an opportunity to meet John Travolta. It's the long story is in my book, of how I eventually became his stuntman, stunt coordinator, and I doubled him for about 10 years. So yeah, that's kind of how I got in the business in a very, very short story.
Okay, so and you were part of season 2 in Knight Rider, being in Silent Night and A Good Night's Work, Mouth of the Snake, among other episodes as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the memories that I have are kind of funny. I don't remember what the episode was where I get hit by a car that's backing up, but David was there, Hasselhoff. Jack was there, and the scene was this car has to back up really fast. It hits me, and I go over the back of the car. And what happened was after I did the gag, I was dusting myself off, and the crew, when you normally do a cool stunt, will applaud, and everybody was applauding, and but the applause continued for a very, very long time. And then I looked at David, who was looking down at my waist area, and apparently my pants were too tight for the actor I was doubling, and my private parts were hanging out of my pants, and that's why the crew was giving me this standing ovation, which is something I guess I could brag about. But yeah, we repaired the pants, and we went again. But that's one of my humorous times on Knight Rider. There was another there was another time when Jack was driving Kit, and he had to go up a ramp and take out a outhouse, or an Andy Gump, as we call him. And I had to look out a little tiny peephole at Alan Jones, who kind of has a quirk about him. Do you know what I mean? He has a twitch. Yeah. And he was supposed to give me my cue to jump out of this just before the car hit it. And I could hear Jack coming up the ramp, and the front tires hit the ramp, which was only a few feet from me. And I saw Alan. He was kind of trying to give me the signal, but it wasn't coming out. So I went out on my own, and I'm happy I did because it was pretty close. But yeah, we had a lot of fun on that show. You know, working with Jack. Jack likes to have fun. And you know, that's kind of what all stunt people like to do. And yeah, I had a lot of fun working on those episodes.
How big a stunt crew was there, and did that change over the years? Because you came back for a single episode for Nightlines in season 3, and then you came back and did numerous episodes in season 4.
Well, you know, the golden age for stunt people in Hollywood was in the 1980s. We had a lot of television here in Los Angeles. We had the A-Team, We had Starsky and Hutch earlier, Knight Rider, Riptide, The Fall Guy, and there were only a few hundred of us working as professional stuntmen back at that time, and women, even fewer women. And so we would go from show to show, sometimes working 2 or 3 shows in a 24-hour period. And so when you ask how big the crew is, I guess you would say that Jack was choosing amongst a few hundred people that would repeatedly come in. But I remember my first episode, there was kind of a riot going on, and I was the guy in the front of the riot, and I made sure I was in the front because I was new to this, and I wanted my mother to see me on this episode. Okay. So I put my face out there, and when we wrapped that day, Jack said that wasn't too smart, Rick, because now we saw your face, and I can't have you back for a few episodes. So I then learned that as a stunt person, if you want to work continually on a series, when the camera looks to you, you kind of look away.
Yeah.
And that way you'll be back.
Yeah, that makes sense. You totally forgot in A Good Night's Work here, where you're driving the truck with kid in the back.
Yeah, I've totally forgotten. I mean, it's so long ago. What is it, 40 years ago, that I only have little memories. I remember dressing as a ninja and doing a fight with David with a bunch of us.
Yeah.
Up at the Sconso Gardens. I remember Tom Elliott and I getting hit by a bunch of 50-gallon drums taking us out. I don't know what episode that was. I remember driving a little bit with the kit car jumping over us. So it's little flashes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of memories. So when you show a picture like that, I don't even remember that at all until you showed it.
Okay, I like that I've been able to surprise you a bit by that. I saw you on IMDb. You're credited for being in Mouth of the Snake. So I watched it, of course, and I think that I found you in Mouth of the Snake as well as a commando. And when I watched A Good Night's Work here afterwards, I was quite convinced that was the same person. So yeah, I just put two and two together. So
yeah.
So did you do all round stunts? It was not like because you have a lot of credentials in fighting as of today, but it was all round stunts when you were on Knight Rider. It wasn't just the fighting scenes.
Yeah, I think I was. I have to give credit to Alan Gibbs, who was my mentor at the time. He was the president of the International Stunt Association. And on weekends, he would train us how to do saddle falls and how to do, various different types of stunts. And so I was learning it as I went. I had been a martial artist for quite some time. So I knew how to do a fight, but I didn't know how to do a picture fight. And had to find the camera and line it up and stack it up for hits. But over time, I learned how to do that. And, Jack gave me different opportunities to do different things, which is what a good stunt coordinator does. He watches what your abilities are. He doesn't give you too much too soon. And that's how you grow.
Yeah. So, was it all second unit? Do you remember that? You mentioned that you were also with David Hasselhoff. How much did you interact with the actors?
Oh, a lot. I think all of the shows we worked on, it was maybe 1 or 2 second units. Yeah. All the rest were first unit, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So any memories regarding David Hasselhoff or other of the actors?
Yeah, the only memory I have of David, I actually went to his home once for dinner. I don't remember what the occasion was, but just lots of laughs and fun. I mean, that show was based on on lightheartedness on the set. And when you have a TV series, that's really important, do you know?
Yeah.
Especially with the theme of Knight Rider. Uh, it's all about having fun. It's working hard. It's 12-hour days. Most television series start working days early in the week, and by the time you get to Friday, you're working all nights.
Yeah.
So the weekends are really short to recover. So those crews tend to become very close, like a family. You're spending all of your time weekly, with the same people. And I just have fond memories of that particular show.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember anything about the cars?
Yeah.
The different types of cars, because there were stunt cars, there were a hero car, and all different types of cars, uniquely built to do something.
Yeah, and I used that later on. Yeah, they had. I think Jack said something about train wreck cars that they
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they would use those for certain things and jumps, and there were tow vehicles, there were picture cars. There was I. They were almost running out of cars, like they were on the Dukes of Hazzard. On the Dukes of Hazzard, they had a full-time guy that was out looking for cars because
Yeah.
they were running out of them.
Yeah.
So when I did Blues Brothers 2000, we shot that in Toronto, and we did the biggest car wreck in history, 54 cars in
Yeah,
two
and you
days.
and you won an award for that.
I did. I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We actually got,
Congratulations. It's brilliant.
thank you. Thank you. But Jack was up there with me, and I think uh, he helped me out a lot because we had, I believe, 12 or 14 different Bluesmobiles. Some of them were made for speed, some were made for crashes, some were made for being on a gimbal, some were made for jumps. So we had at least a dozen Bluesmobiles, and I think that advice came from Jack being up there with me. We had to design ramps and pipe ramps, and uh, he was amazing with the skill. If I could brag about Jack for a second, uh, John Landis, who did the first Blues Brothers, decided that he wanted the Bluesmobile to arrive as it did in the first movie, coming down the street and then doing a 180 and parking on the other side of the street. So he said, "How are you going to?" And he said, "I want two expensive cars for that slide to happen in between without wrecking those two expensive cars." And the CGI guy raised his hand. He said, "Oh, I could put those in post." And John said, "No, I want it for real." So the first night that Jack had to work doing that particular stunt, they went down the street, and I asked John Landis, I said, "How far do you want the bumper of the Bluesmobiles to be from the two cars he slides in between?" And he said, "Make it 3 feet." So I went over there, and the grips were setting the cars, and I said, not Transpo was setting the cars, and I said, "Guys, make it wider. John's not going to know how far 3 feet is. So make it a little more." And John was right behind me. And he said, "I heard that, Avery." And so he called for a grip, and he said, "Bring over a tape measure. I want to make sure this is exactly 3 feet." Well, Jack came down the street really hot, and he threw his 180 to the opposite side of the street, and he put it right between those two cars. But that's not the end of the story. Landis wanted to push it more, so he called the grip back over, and he said, "Make it 2 feet." So then Jack came back in again, and he threw the 180, nailed it right in between these two expensive cars. Still not the end of the story. John came back, he measured it to 1 foot, and Jack put it in there again. That's the type of driver Jack was. And that's because he did all of that work on Knight Rider. I remember him I remember him jumping in the car and just taking this old Hasselhoff wig and dropping it on the top of his head and taking it off. It was that kind of fun. You just don't do that nowadays on sets. They have hair and makeup, and people come over and bother you. Jack would just toss it on and say, "Let's go."
That's fantastic. Do you remember? Did they wreck any cars while you were on the show?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, yeah. They were always wrecking cars. They were jumping. I mean, Kit was just a huge part of that show. So anytime I was there, something was going on with Kit.
Yeah.
Either we were jumping out of the way of it, it was jumping over us, it was crashing near us, it was chasing us. It had so many different things, and then causing havoc as it would. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was always there.
How much rehearsal did they do before car stunts, before fight scenes? How was that?
Um, I'm going to sound like an old fogey right now, but back then, during those TV series, you would hire the right stunt person for the job. So, for instance, if I showed up on Fall Guy one morning, there weren't any rehearsals for anything. You just went and did it. Now, this is before Video Village.
Yeah.
This is before replay. And then I got hired on, I did 4 Batman movies, 3 with Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
And when I got called to do the first one, Tom Struthers, who was the assistant stunt coordinator, said, I need you out here 5 weeks before we start shooting because we're going to rehearse. And I'm saying, we're going to rehearse what? And he said, we're going to rehearse the car chase. And I said, we show up and do that. We're trained. We know how to do that. We don't really rehearse car. We did that for 5 weeks on all 3 movies.
All right, yeah.
So back then there weren't rehearsals. I mean, we might rehearse something in a scene once so that the camera people could see where they're going to be. Short rehearsal, but we just did it. I mean, Tom even asked me on one of those Batman movies, he said, I want to rehearse a pipe ramp because I've done a lot of car pipe ramps and wrecks later in my career as it goes. And I said, you want to rehearse a pipe ramp with a police car? You're going to wreck that car. And he said, yeah, mate, but it's somebody who had never done one before, and I want to rehearse it. So I said, okay. So I built a whole bunch of hundreds of boxes, and we pipe ramped the car, and it turned over and landed in the boxes. They flipped it back over, and they used it in the movie. So big difference between how much the Britain people rehearse, which is great, and how much we did back then, which is just on the set rehearsals.
Yeah.
You would show up to a show and just strap in and do a car rollover. It's it's just how it was back then.
How about the interaction with the actors? Because there must have been instances where the actors was always also involved in this type of stunt, in fight scenes and so on. In any rehearsals with the actors or.
Well, we would always have a stunt double for an actor in a fight.
Okay.
So usually the way you would do that is you do a master, what we would call a master. It'd be multiple cameras, multiple angles, and you would shoot a wide shot of the fight. Yeah. And then you would take portions of that fight, and yes, the actor would step in for his close-ups for that portion of the fight.
Okay. Yeah.
So depending on his ability and how he came across on camera, the better he was at doing fights, the more we could utilize his footage. Yeah. So yeah, very close work with the actors all the time. And the same has to go with a car chase. You have to shoot the car chase, and then you have to plug the actor in a tow vehicle or something like that. Now they have things like the biscuit where they actually are sitting in the car and somebody else is driving it from outside of the car to make it look like he's driving. But yeah, you need the integral parts of the actor's face to match in. So yes, the actors, we're working with them constantly.
Of course, yeah. So in between what you did on Knight Rider, you went on to do a lot of other shows.
Yes, lots.
I can see that from IMDb. and Jack would then call you back, or how did that work?
Yeah, Jack. You mean on Knight Rider or other shows? Yeah, no, he would call me back if I was available. I was, of course, come in. If I wasn't, he'd say, "Okay, I'll call you on the next one." And we were all. It was the glory days of, like I mentioned before, of the '80s, early '90s of stunt people. We were just working so much. So for a stunt coordinator like Jack, he'd be up sometimes really late at night trying to find somebody for the next morning.
Yeah.
And it was really great because the stunt coordinators knew, well, Rick, I'm calling you for tomorrow morning, and I would say, well, I'm working all night on Riptide. Can I come in an hour late? And he'd say, yeah, come in an hour late. I'll lie. I'll tell them that you have explosive diarrhea in the dressing room or something. So the coordinators were. Yeah, it was really cool times because you'd show up on the set, you'd maybe do a shot, and then you'd go back to the honey wagon. He'd say, grab some Z's and go get some rest time, and then they'd call you back out when they needed you.
Yeah, yeah. Any memories regarding the difference between shooting on stage at Universal and being out on location?
I think you would be the one to correct me, but I think almost everything I worked on was outside.
Yeah, on location.
Yeah, on location. Yeah, I don't remember working on stage. Maybe once or twice, but I don't
you were in Fright Night in season 4, and that I think that was towards the end of the show, just a few weeks before it was cancelled, and I think that took place entirely on the Universal backlot.
I don't even remember that. I don't even remember what I did on that episode.
Okay, we'll have to see. I don't know how much you can see on your screen, but I have some of the episodes that you're in here.
I'll be down
here behind me. I don't know how much you can see, but I know the episode that you talked about with the car backing into you. I know the episode that was in, and I can of course find that short clip so we can see it. But I don't know if there are any more memories regarding things you did on the show. You mentioned the ninja fight as well. From that was actually from, I think, the second to last episode to be filmed. I don't know if you remember anything, any changes from when you first were on the show to the last couple of episodes you did. As I said, A Night of the Rising Sun is the second to last episode to be filmed. So I don't know if there were any changes with the producers, maybe playing down the stunts to make it cheaper.
There's always that. As a TV series evolves, everything becomes cheaper in the end. I do remember, we get residuals.
Yeah.
By being in the Screen Actors Guild. And for someone who's listening, that means that whenever you're on a TV show or a commercial or a movie, you're paid for that every time it shows for life. Now, it might only be 10 cents that you're getting after 40 years or $100 or something, but the bigger that your resume is, the more checks you get coming in when you get older.
Yeah.
There is something called I can't remember the term. When the show opening happens every episode, they'll show clips from prior episodes.
Yeah.
Now Jack was in all of those clips. I can't remember what the terminology is, but for them to use that, they had to pay him multiple contracts, and they were getting upset with Jack, saying, can't we just pay you one fee because it's getting too expensive to show these clips at the opening of the show?
Yeah.
Can't remember what they're called. And Jack says, well, if you don't want them, then don't show them. That was his answer.
That's nice.
You see, because producers got pretty smart. They got really greedy. Back then, you could work on a show like Knight Rider, and wear a red hat and have a mustache or a beard, real or phony, and that was an identifiable character. That was one contract. But if you changed clothes and played a different person in the same stunt sequence, that was another contract. So you could show up on a show and get 2 contracts, maybe 3. Well, they got smart about that, and they eventually negotiated with the Screen Actors Guild and said, we're coming up with something called a utility stunt. That meant that no matter how many times you changed, you had only one contract.
Yeah, all right.
And the only chance you got to get a second contract would be if you were doubling somebody.
Yeah.
So all of that, we made a lot of money back then doing that. But the producers got smart, and that's what happened.
Yeah, yeah. Can you maybe talk a bit about, because you've been a second unit director, stunt director, and also stunt man. Can you try to tell us a bit about how's that work different? When you're a stunt man, you just come in and someone else tells you what to do, and if you're a coordinator, you have to make sure that everything works. Or can you maybe expand a bit on that?
Yeah, it's changed over the years quite a bit. When I first got in the business, I came in as a martial artist, and I didn't want to really do martial arts. I did that enough at my school and competition, but it was my way in, because back then the need was great. There was a lot of martial arts television shows, kung fu movies coming out, and there weren't very many qualified martial artists in the business, stunt-wise, mostly cowboys.
Yeah.
So when I started to coordinate, I realized that there's some stunt people that are very happy just being bag carrying stunt people, meaning they show up with their bag of pads and they're happy just to do the job, be told what to do, and have fun. A stunt coordinator, for me back then, it was a chance to be in front of camera and behind the camera. So for me to be able to do a pipe ramp or a car chase, I would plug myself in to do that. Yeah. So I would coordinate the sequence, and then I would appear in it, just like Jack Gill did. So it was opportunities for me to grow as a stuntman, putting myself in a position to do high falls, to do fire gags, to do car rollovers, things like that. Yeah. And that's what developed my experience over the years. Yeah. I also realized that it enables you to be creative with the director. So the job of a stuntman is to read the script, break it down budget-wise for the producer and UPM, and then to meet with the director and to put his vision on camera. So for different directors, some directors give you all the responsibility to develop that scene, and some directors know exactly what they want and they just tell you what they want. Yeah. So then I used my time as a stunt coordinator to get behind camera and ask them, why are you shooting that at 22 frames? Why are you shooting that at 20 frames? Well, we want Jackie Chan to look like he's faster. We want, the car chase to look like it's faster. And why are you using that particular lens? So when the time came for me to do my first second unit, I was prepared. I knew exactly how to work camera, how to shoot the speeds of it, how the angles work, because I used every day studying that when I was a stunt coordinator. So it enabled me to go on to be a second unit director, and then enabled me to direct a couple of movies and a documentary on my own.
Yeah. Okay. It's all very good, and I think it's a great stories you have and great insights into how stunt life was like back in the 80s. It's brilliant. I've gathered, or I have a DVD in my a player here. So I have a couple of scenes that I'd like to show you. Now I don't know if you can see them. I don't know if you
I remember. Can see them.
You can see them. And I think actually you're also in this scene. You're trying to steal Kit. I don't know if that rings a bell. I think that you're one of the truck drivers in this scene, arriving shortly and trying to put chains on Kit and get and actually steal him.
Yes, that brings back memories. Yes.
So and while that all this is happening inside the factory, just give me a second. I think you'll come up. Yeah. Here you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This scene. Yeah. You're coming up there, I think, in the truck.
Yes.
And yeah. So I don't know. You're probably in the truck backing it up.
Yeah.
I think that was you.
I think it was when I was young and handsome.
I think you still look very young and handsome. I can say as well. Yeah, and I think that your work keeps you young.
True.
Yeah, it's hard physical work. How do you work out? How do you keep in shape? So there you are, actually under Kit probably.
Yes. Yeah. Well, to stay in shape, I work out 5 days a week. Stretching, weightlifting, cardio. I box. I still do martial arts, and it's hard. It's a discipline. I don't like working out anymore, but this is my tool. Yeah. So it's not like they want you to fall out of the tree when you show up. They want you to climb it too. So I learned early in my career that you can't show up and not be in shape. You might be doing a foot chase or, climbing things, and you really have to be in shape. So, it's a curse and a blessing. I'm blessed because I'm in good shape, but it's also a curse because I hate working out.
Yeah.
Also, nowadays, Jacob, they're making parts. So I just attended the Legends dinner that the Stuntmen's Association has every year.
Yeah.
And everybody, the young guys as well as the old guys, were all limping around. And it's not unusual to see stunt people limping around. But they were all limping because they were recovering from artificial hips and artificial knees and artificial shoulders. So you can go to the store now and you can buy these things, you see, and the doctor will put them in. Not really, but I over the last year and a half, I have a new hip and a new knee, and it's extended my stunt career.
Yeah. It's I can understand that it's immensely physical, hard work.
Yeah. I mean, we do, stunt people, women and men in this business. It's part of our personality. We want to please.
Yeah.
And sometimes doing multiple takes, falling down the stairs or whatever, or getting hit or fights or being jerked into a wall.
Jumping into a tree, perhaps.
Jumping into a tree. it does take its effect over time. And, I must admit, every morning when I get up, it takes a little longer to get out of bed and, and to loosen everything up. But that's the nature of just aging for anybody.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't change it for the world. We abuse. There's something wrong with us. We abuse ourselves to please. And that's just part of the personality of stunt people.
Yeah, I don't know how soothing it is, because when you started talking about how you got into stunts, I don't know if I dare ask the question, but what did your parents say?
My mother thought I was crazy, but I realized from her friends that whenever I wasn't there, she would brag about me. Yeah. So, my son was on this show or my son was on that show, but yeah.
So it was okay. Yeah.
She thought I was crazy, but she also thought I was crazy. I only had 6 months left, one semester in college, and I quit college to buy a karate school for $1,000. But that karate school enabled me to feed my family. It got me to connect with stunt people, and eventually led to for me to get into this business. So she was upset that I didn't graduate, but in 2020 during the pandemic, I went back to college and I got my degree. And what's interesting, Jacob, is the degree showed up at my home on Mother's Day, and when I opened the envelope, it was right near a picture of her. So I know she was happy that I went back to college and got my degree.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What a great story. What a great story.
Yeah.
So, all right, yeah. I'll just fast forward. We're in the scene here where you are driving the truck. I love this quote you have that it's like the car has a mind of its own, and that's actually exactly what it has in the show. So
Yes.
yeah. So
Well, we get a chance as stunt people, if you don't mind acting a little bit. We call those under fives.
yeah,
So what they mean by an under five is that you have 5 lines or less. But over time, a lot of stunt coordinators would find, oh, call so and so. I know he can do the line, because some stunt people can't, and they don't want to. They don't want anything to do with dialogue. But I've had the opportunity, I think, in 50 movies and television shows to have parts like in Heat or Batman Begins, or one of the not Batman Begins, but one of those. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to do quite a few parts as an actor, which is always fun.
yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah, because it's not a big thing. To do under fives is really great. It's not really that pressing. You're not developing a character. You're just doing a particular scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember this sword fight. Yeah, I remember that actor. He used to work a lot.
Yeah. He was a brilliant actor.
Yeah. Always the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. So
I remember being on set, whether it was the same day. That's Andy Gill, I think, coming out the back. Oh yeah, look at that.
It does have a mind of its own.
Does have a mind of its own.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, and we have a scene as well where Kid comes flying into the apartment and stops right before it smashes into a wall. But I don't know how much you remember of this.
I do remember that sword fight, but I don't think I was involved in it. Maybe I was around the set when they were doing it. I don't know.
Was that when you were hired in for a show? Did you get the job for a week? Now you've been on this a good night's work. This episode was that from this date to this date you'll be on Knight Rider, and that's it for now.
Yeah. So you come in and you do. Sometimes it's only a day.
Yeah.
To work on an episode. Sometimes it's a few days. So yeah, it wasn't. I don't know that I may have done one weekly here or there, but mostly it was come in for a day and just do this, or 2 days.
Yeah.
But that's how most TV shows are. You come in, you do your thing, and you leave.
Yeah. In also in that respect, you are an expert called in to do to do a specified task.
Yes. You come in with a particular skill level, and that's what you're paid to do. But that's the difference between being a stuntman or woman back then and now. So I just did a hustle where I went to this event on the weekend, and they had young stunt people come up and hustle us as stunt coordinators.
Yeah.
And the thing that I kept mentioning to them, and the question I would ask is, I would say, so what's your background? And they would say, well, I'm a martial artist. And I would say, well, that day's come and gone. Everybody's a martial artist nowadays. But I would say, can you ride a horse? And they'd say, no. I said, can you ride a motorcycle? No. Can you throw a 180 up to a Mercedes? No. So what can you do? I mean, if I wanted to take you to Chicago, am I going to bring 5 stunt persons, or am I going to bring one that can do it all?
Yeah.
And it's not like you have to be an expert in all of those things, because if you have to do a wheelie on a motorcycle upstairs, we're going to bring in an expert to do that. But if I want you to just do a drive-by really quick or a little bit of a chase, you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
So the stunt people back then were able to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The stunt people of today, I hate to sound like an old grouchy guy, are only skilled in 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
And they don't like hitting the ground like we did. So, yeah, we would be brought in for a particular skill level, but the stunt people back then had lots of different skill levels.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
This is like me watching episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger, where they would ask me questions. Do you remember this fight with Chuck? And I did a lot of fights with Chuck.
Yeah.
Whether it was movies or television series, and I can't remember one to the other. I don't know. That's Al Jones in there, I think. To the left.
I think you're probably better. I'm quite sure you know these people better than I do. But this is one of the very great action scenes of this two-parter. Actually, I was wondering if you were doubling the guy playing David Dalton.
You know what? I don't. It's kind of hard for me to see the characters. It's kind of small, but yeah, my guess is probably too tall for me to have been his double. I don't recall doubling him, but I might have been one of those persons in that fight.
Yeah, you're also a helicopter pilot.
Yeah, I am. You know.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person in the whole world that has an extensive helicopter resume, doing production and stunts and helicopters, and a stunt resume on the other side of it. Yeah. But I remember the first time I was a commercial airplane pilot for a while on the side. I didn't work as commercially, and I remember thinking, wow, stunt people are the coolest people on the set. They really are, you know. But then one day a helicopter came and arrived on the set and was blowing dust on it. And I went, no, that guy's the coolest guy on the set. And so I went out and I got my helicopter license. I eventually got my commercial helicopter. Then I flew for the news, and I also flew on forest fires. And probably did a lot of movie production as well. Yeah. I do a lot of helicopter. I still fly helicopters. It's a joy of mine. And I've been able to balance that career along with, the stunt career.
Yeah, yeah. But no helicopter flying on Knight Rider.
No, I didn't have my license back then.
Okay.
I had my airplane, but I didn't. No flying helicopter. I wish I had.
So, I think I've found the scene here. You knew the name of the garden you were in, or
Descanso Gardens. Yeah, it's just outside of LA.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I had the fortune of interviewing Rommel Moore, who plays the young boy in this episode. Hopefully, I'll reunite with him in Copenhagen this summer and show him my kit replica.
Nice.
I hope that will be doable. So, but let's watch it. There are a lot of ninjas. You're simply dressed in ninja clothes in this.
Yeah, I was upset because, again, I was a new stunt man and I wanted my mom to see me, and we had these hoods on as ninjas. So I think Mike Vendrell might have worked that day. Jeff Amata, James Liu, I'm guessing, was there. mostly Asian guys, I believe, made up the stunt crew. But I knew all those guys because I was a martial artist with them and had worked on martial arts scenes with them. So yeah, I remember that that day doing the fight.
That's yeah. So you were in the fight, but you had nothing to do
Yes.
with what's happening with the car, or you were chasing it, or do you remember?
No, I don't think I was one of those guys. I can't remember, to tell you the truth. I do remember doing the fight, but that's all I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than 40 years, and yeah, I look at your resume. Would say you haven't just been lying on your couch for 40 years.
Yeah. It's funny. I should mention that my second book, I'm looking up at where my books are.
Yeah,
My first stunt book was called A Life at Risk, and the second one was Too Old to Tell Lies. And that's what I say now is all the stories. It's all lies anyway.
no, you
get a
can't
bunch of,
remember anything. I love it.
I can't remember. It's funny. You get a bunch of stunt people in a room, and all of a sudden the 10-foot high fall is a 40-foot high fall, and I jumped out of the car and we were going 30 miles an hour, and you were really going 5. So
Yeah.
you know, it's so I always say it's all lies. Everything I'm telling today is a lie.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, okay, I think we're gonna end up with me finding this scene that you started, that you talked about to begin with. So how would it usually work? You said that you doubled the guy that the car ran into. Would you be doubling him in all of his scenes then, or if
That actor, I've doubled that guy a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah,
I doubled him.
and he would also be the one that the car runs into. Yeah, when in the scene you mentioned to begin with. So
Where it backs up.
yeah, where it backs up exactly. Yeah, I'll just try to find it here.
Yeah, I was trying to find that footage myself a few years ago. Somebody was asking me about that because it's in the book. I talk about the comedic part of it, my pants tearing.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find a still shot because I used to have a still shot of that somebody took on the set.
Yeah. All right.
But,
Yeah.
but I lost it. I lost the still picture of it.
So I'll just. I think it would be this scene.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the car.
That is you flying.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. It's backing up, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and I forget that actor's name, but he was smaller than me, so the pants they put me in, yeah, that's me. The pants they put on me were so tight they tore out the crotch. So that's why I got a standing ovation from the crew that kept clapping and clapping and clapping. That was good fun.
Of course. That is brilliant. Just let me see if I can find that other.
What episode was that?
This is from a season 2 episode called Silent Night.
Silent Night.
Yeah, and the guy, the actor playing the gypsy boy that is supposed to back into you, is actually also a good friend of mine. I interviewed him numerous years ago. I think back in 2021 probably. And met with him at Southern Nights Atlanta, a Night Rider convention. And also, I last year I was in New York with my girlfriend, and we met up with him and had lunch at a New York restaurant. So so he's
nice.
a good friend of mine. So yeah.
Oh, which I would have known. I was in New York working all last year.
we'll have to coordinate
There you go.
the next time. I don't know if this is the scene. It could be funny if it is, but I'm not sure if it matches.
Yeah, it was at a construction site.
I don't know if it's. I'm just trying to remember. Oh no. Yeah, would that be Night Lines instead? No, I don't think so. But it's probably not this scene. I'm just trying to remember if anything goes on at a construction site. In the other, I'm not sure which episode it is. But here at least we have a car banging into it's a Sheedos of some kind, and Kid is trying to save Michael.
Yeah, I think that same actor, I doubled him in the car.
Yeah.
But I think he was a passenger, not a driver.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Might have been Mario Roberts driving the car, because I think were the three of us in that.
Yeah.
I remember
you were a gang of three. Yeah.
Okay.
So great. Well, fantastic! It's been a huge pleasure listening to so many fantastic stories regarding stunts. I think my second to last question would be: can you? I know, and it doesn't have to be too long, but can you try to sum up how the stunts have changed from the 1980s up until now?
Yeah. The stunts in the 1980s, late 70s, 1980s, we were still figuring things out. Pipe ramps for doing car rollers were new. It was an easier way and cannon rolls off of cars. Air rams were just being invented. Kenny Indoso and Bobby Cummings were coming up with that, and they were rams that would send you. Do you know what I mean? Instead of a mini tramp, which is what they used to use. You would jump off the mini tramp and then get some air. So this air ramp would send you in the air. Jack Gill was one of the best riders of an air ramp that I've ever seen. There's the opening of a movie where it's an explosion and he's coming off a cliff off of an air ramp. Ratchets, meaning wires attached to your back that would pull. Descenders. Yeah. These are all things that were being developed in the 1980s. And so we would show up on a set and the director would say, well, what's going to happen? And we say, I don't know. Let's do it and we'll figure it out. That's how it was back then. We were living on the edge and developing these things. Hitting the ground was part of the deal. Flash forward to today, a lot of CGI, a lot of AI. So you're having bodies manipulated by a computer. And I just saw, if you get a chance to watch a movie called Mercy, I just watched it the other night, and it's a huge car chase. A lot of it's shot from above. There's pipe ramps, there's rollovers, there's crowds being split by cars, all AI. Yeah. So the future is bleak for stunt people. It used to be when a stunt person would come to me and say, how do I get in the business? I would give them the advice of how to get started, how to train to do the things that you needed to do when called upon. But now when they come to me, I say, there's no future for you in this business. AI is taking over a lot of the action sequences. So the call for the amount of stunt persons needed for a particular scene has been minimized. The residuals that we got that were huge. For instance, I worked on Titanic. I think my first residual check that I got was $40,000. You don't see that anymore because they're streaming. Everything's going to streaming.
Yeah.
So the residuals are minimal. So the future, so for a stunt person nowadays, back in the old days, if you weren't working for a month or two, you had a slow time, the big residuals from television were coming in and feeding your family. Today, I don't think that the younger stunt people, when they get older, they're not going to have a large residual bank to take them through the slow times.
No.
So that's the difference is there's a lot of wire work nowadays. So people are performing stunts and there are wires. They talk about having a talent on wire. No, not a talent. You're a passenger. You need to be able to manipulate your body a certain way. But, I've done this type of wire work and I'm not a gymnast. Never have been able to manipulate my body that way. But the wire manipulates you anyway. So, I'm sad to say it. But if you're thinking about being a stunt person, think about doing something else. The days are not long for this type of profession. There'll always be some. Do you know what I mean? You'll always need somebody to do a fight and do this and do that. But those mass show ups and those mass car chases, they're already doing it with AI, and it looks good.
It looks good, but still, call me old-fashioned, but there's something honest about a Pontiac Trans Am flying through the air.
Exactly, and I remember seeing my first car rollover in person, and it's an amazing thing to see. And being able to do that 54 car pileup that I did on Blues Brothers 2000, people today approach me and say that's CGI. I went, nope, there was a driver in every car. But those, you'll never see that again. It'll never be done again. No. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's been a great ride for me.
Fantastic.
I'm still fortunate enough to be working and I'm still doing stunts, and God bless me. For an old man.
Fantastic.
For an old man, I'm doing okay.
You are. Yeah, I would encourage all viewers to go to rigavery.net. Is that the correct address? Yeah. And try to look up his credentials. It's magnificent. So Rick, we're coming to the end now, and I think my last question will be that you've accomplished so much since Knight Rider. What do you think? I can tell you that people are still meeting up every year. There's a convention in Atlanta for Knight Rider fans, where some of the from the cast and crew turns up, and we have a great time on a Friday and a Saturday, and enjoy a great time together. What do you feel when you hear that a show that you were involved with still resonates to this day, and that people are still finding a great joy, and the fact that the two of us are talking is a testament that people want to know about Knight Rider.
Yeah, it is a great testament, and it's the same thing when they came out for the movie Fall Guy. A lot of the original people like us that showed up for the premiere. I've worked on some Star Trek things and coordinated some Star Trek movies, and they have their conventions. So it's a blessing, and it's wonderful to see that people are still interested in the work that we did years and years ago.
Fantastic. I think it's a great way to end this. So thanks so much for taking time to do this, Mr. Avery. It's been a huge pleasure.
Same for me, Jacob. It's nice to meet you, and good luck with your show.
Fantastic.
Hello, friends. It's me, Kit. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.
you.